Ba da ba 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 ba. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Forgive and Forget. My name is Hal Sadi, aka Halu, and look, we're back in the regular format, and I have a podcast for you today. It is my dad, and here's how we're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna break it into bits. So you're gonna get part one today, and we haven't recorded the other parts, so I don't know how many other parts there going to be. So my dad doesn't have any social media or anything like that, so you can't follow him. If you want any updates, just come to me, all right? Okay. So without further ado, my dad, Phil Sadi. What's up, everybody? This is my dad, Phil Sadi. Welcome him to the show. Hi, Phil. How are you?
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I know that, and I've been looking forward to it.
Hold the micro. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Now, what did, so I've known you since I've been born because you're my dad. Not, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
Well, from when I was born in Lebanon, Hasroun, Lebanon, and I was in Lebanon till I was 14. From 14 on, I came to Canada,
Okay.
and I lived in Canada most of my life.
What do you remember about Lebanon?
Well, Lebanon, the time I was living there, that was the time of the war, Second World War. It was a hard time, no food, people crying. They don't have bread to eat. They don't have food to eat, and it was really, really, really a bad time.
What year were you born?
I was born 1935.
1935. So, but around the time of the war, that was around 1939, 1940.
Yeah.
So you were around 5 years old.
Yeah, and my dad died. I was in 1941.
Okay.
I was 6 years old.
6 years old. So,
Yeah.
what do you remember anything about the war?
Not too much because we didn't see anything about the war because we live in a town in the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we see a lot of time they took some soldiers to rest in there for for a couple of days and and that's the only thing. That type of soldier, there were no fighting in there or nothing. But the, the war took big caused big problem for the people. And them days, they claim some war they make money and some war that the people starve. But I think that's the war, as far as I'm concerned, that's the war that a lot of people starve.
Okay. Okay. Um, how many siblings do you have?
I have one brother and two sisters.
Two sisters. You're the second oldest, right?
Yes.
Second oldest. And around that time, did you what did you do with your siblings?
Well, we went to school, grade school, in our hometown, Hasrun, and we never went out of Hasrun. Only place we knew that was that our town. The only time we knew anything outside of our town when we found out that my aunt in Canada made us paper to immigrate to Canada.
Mm-hmm. How old were you?
I was 14.
14.
Then I became 15 during that
Mm-hmm.
time, and we we came to Canada in 1950, and we left. First of all, we left our town about couple weeks before to say goodbye to my aunt and her family because they lived in Hasrun. Then we went down to Tripoli because that's where my grandmother and my mother's side and her grandfather they were living at that time because my grandfather he was a carpenter and he was doing some carpentry work and one uncle was doing cement work for this big building in Tripoli and when we left I think on the 15th of March.
15th of March.
No,
What?
no, no, no. Excuse me. We left around the 13 or the 14. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
But and we went from Tripoli. We went to Damascus because at that time the airport in Beirut wasn't finished yet,
Mm-hmm.
and we went all the way to Damascus because we had to fly out of Damascus. And my we went me and my brother and sisters and my mother and one uncle and my mother and another great uncle and a great aunt. They went with us, and because they went with us because both of them they immigrated to Costa Rica and they went back to Lebanon in 1948, and they came with us because we didn't know what to do or where to go. We were very very green, and
Um. So you were 14 when you left. You were born in 1935.
yeah,
So that means it was 1944 by the time you left Lebanon.
uh-huh.
It was 1944 by the time you left Lebanon.
No, after 50.
I was in the 50s.
No, and
Oh no, you're right. You're right. 14. My math is bad. 1949. I'm sorry.
no, in 1950.
In the 50s.
And
Okay.
48, 49, we received the paper.
Okay.
Then they started, working, what to find out where everything's at and how to make passports and all the necessary thing you do, to immigrate. And it took about 3 months. We received them in November 49, and until we finished, I think at the end of February. That's when we finished everything with passport were ready and we had to go to the Canadian embassy and tell them that we're all ready and they can schedule the time and the flight, when we can come. And they did all this, and we left Tripoli on the on the third on the 12th, and we went to Damascus, and we spent couple of days in Damascus. And my great aunt and uncle, they said, them young kids they're emigrating now. They should get to see different things, all different things before they go. And they took us,
I'll hold it for you.
and they took us to the Great Mosque and Damascus and different other places, to see before we leave. And on the 15th, we scheduled to go on the 15th. We were supposed to go to Italy. In Italy, we're supposed to spend one night, and the next day we're supposed to go to Italy to England, London. And in London, we were supposed to stay 2 nights, then go to Canada. But when we got to London, the interpreter came and talked to my mother and told her that you're lucky. Air Canada is in here waiting. You won't be leaving in about 2 to 3 hours. And if you want to leave tonight, go direct to Canada, or you want to stay here the 2 days and wait and go to Canada and 2 days after. And my mother started thinking. She said she never traveled. She never did anything. And she said, well, she's got 4 kids and didn't know, what to do. She asked her aunt and her uncle and her brother what she should do. No, 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 no. They didn't have nothing to do with it. And she didn't ask them because she had to make that decision by herself in London. And she asked us, and between all the family that was going, I was the only one that got airsick. The minute I get in the plane, I stay for about between 2 to 3 hours, nothing. All of a sudden, after 3 hours, I start throwing up. I get airsick, and when we were in London, I was so sick. I was throwing up all the way, almost for 3 hours, and until when we got there, I was almost right out. And she told the people, Air Canada, and said, "Look at this guy. He's really sick. Can you think they can make it all the way?" And the lady told her, "Don't worry. We can give him some pill to drug him out to make him sleep." And I remember they gave me the pill, and I was still throwing up. Finally, I fell asleep. And when I woke up, we were almost ready to land in Canada. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was Gander or Montreal airport. I forgot. And it was the entry to Canada, and we came to Canada, and we came on a 4-motor plane. From inside Canada, we had to travel on a smaller plane with 2 motor. All at that time, all were propeller motor. There were no jets. And so we traveled from Montreal all the way down to Toronto, and Toronto they put us on another plane and they sent us to Windsor. And we got all the way to Windsor, and Windsor there was a big snowstorm. I think they got about 15 inches of snow at that time, and it was snowing like crazy. We went all the way to Windsor, and the plane couldn't land, couldn't see the airport. And so they went back to Toronto, and we stayed in Toronto about 3 hours or so, and they sent us back. Finally, they landed in Windsor, and my aunt and her and my uncle and some friend of theirs, they were all waiting for us at the airport, and one of their friends came all the way to the airplane and told us, "When you gonna get down?" Because everybody was sick, or even Everybody was sick except my young sister. She was the only one that never got sick on the flight. And my brother got sick. My older sister got sick. My mother got sick. Then then finally we got all our belonging together, and we went out, and everybody was waiting for us, and it was a big, nice welcome from my aunt and uncle and all their friends. It, it was really a beautiful thing at that time. I was, to see a new like you see in yourself in a new country. And everybody used to tell us that Canada it's really cold, and that's when we really found out it was really cold. And we went, and they sent us. We arrived around Easter time. And I think it was around Easter vacation at that time, the schools. And after Easter vacation, my aunt took us to school and told the principal that we just arrived, if he can take us in the school. And the principal was very nice, polite man by the name of Mr. Gagnon, and he really have a lot to do with helping us to learn the English language. He was French, and we knew French. I tried to translate the French into English for us, and he used to spend about at least 1 hour with us a day, trying to help us. We got in at the end of April, I think, and when we finished school at the end of June, me and my two sisters and a brother, we were all speaking English. All thanks to that Mr. Gagnon, who really helped us to learn the English language. Spending 1 hour a day in the school to make us learn the English language. I really appreciated, and from there, my brother he went and got a job to learn as a printer. He went with the guy person by the name of James Benton. And Mr. Benton, he really got to like my brother, and he helped him learn the printing business. And eventually, he liked to travel, and he used to live the business all under my brother's care, and my brother took care of it, and everything was working like a clock for him. He was very, very happy with my brother. During that time, I was going to school, and there was a man. He had a business next to the print shop by the name of Mr. Harry Zelick. And he told my brother, "Is your brother doing anything after school?" My brother told him, "No, he's not doing nothing. He just stays home." He said, "Tell him if you want the job, I'll pay him after school until you go home, and he can go home with you." So my brother told me, "When you finish school, take the bus and come to where I work, and there's a man here who's going to give you a job." So I went down, and the man was a very nice man, Mr. Zelick. He treated me like a son, and he gave me the job he had like not, what do you call it, puppy, like he make all the advertisement for the movies,
Oh,
and he make the cut of the letters, and he run them on a sheet of paper, and put it like
oh, the billboards.
like a billboard, yeah. And he taught me how to do that, and I used to do that for him, and he paid me 50 cents an hour. That was money for me to spend, kid going to school. I was getting about $1.50 a day.
Back in those days, that was a lot of money,
Oh,
right?
that was good money them days, papi. For a while, I went out on Saturday and Sunday to the golf course to caddy. And the first day I went there to caddy, I introduced myself to the caddy master, and I told him, I just came to Canada and I would like to caddy if he can help me out. He said, sure, Phil. I'll send you out as soon as I've seen somebody that you can like to take you. I'll send you up with them. And I was in there about 45 minutes, and he called me, Phil, come here. And I went, and he said, okay, take this bag and go and wait for Mr. Ray. You're gonna be caddying for him. I said, okay. And came Mr. Ray, introduced himself, and he had a young daughter too, about my age, and she went out with him, to walk around, not to play, it's just to walk around. And we went out for the whole 18 hole golf course. And at the end of the 18, I heard the fee was to carry for 18 hole was $2. And he took out $2 to pay me. And his daughter said to him, hey, puppy, what about the tip? He took out another 50 cents and said, 250, the tip is 50 cents, okay? I said, okay, I didn't say nothing. It was his daughter, the one that said it. And I thank him very, I appreciate it, and I thank him. I said, thank you very much. And he was really a nice person. After, eventually, I found out they live in the summertime, not too far where I lived. And I got to meet his daughter and her sister eventually. And his daughter, eventually she married one of, not a friend, that's a person that went to the same school with me. I used to see him by the name of Kenny Grant, and he married her. And I never heard from him anymore. The only thing I heard was they used to rent voting machine during election time. They rent the voting machine and all over the country. And that's all I knew about him. I never heard about him anymore. And after that, I stayed with Mr. Zielik for another year, and I started working on the Green Giant in the summertime.
How old were you by this point?
When I started working for Green Giant, I was about 15. I think I was still 15.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. And I started working in Green Giant. Acadian business finish, and and I work in Green Giant from the end of June. No, end of July. I work in the corn season. I didn't work in pea season because it's already finished. A guy by the name of Mr. Harry Campo. He's the one that hired me in the Green Giant. Very nice man. It turned out to be he was our neighbor in Tecumseh where we live. And I really appreciated. He was always, will remember him because he was a real nice man. He's the one told my uncle, don't worry, I'll hire him anytime he wants because he's a good worker. From the Green Giant in 1955. 54. 1954. At the end of 1954, in December, I was called to work at Chrysler. And at Chrysler, at them days, they were paying over $3 an hour. I forgot exactly. But I know over $3 an hour, where everybody else is around dollar something.
Chrysler was the biggest company in town, right?
In that area, yeah, and they were paying good money. They started working 2 shifts, and after the 2 shifts, the business was so good, they had to put the 3rd shift, working around the clock at Chrysler.
You worked all 3 shifts?
Huh?
Did you work all 3 shifts?
No, 1 shift. They won't let you work 3 shifts. Sometime if nobody comes in, they ask somebody if they want to stay and work the 2nd shift. It's up to you. You can say yes or you can say no. Sometime if some people never showed up for a job, and they ask people from the shift ahead before, but because to work 2 shifts, it's very hard. And I did good on Chrysler. I worked from December 54 till June 57.
So you were at Chrysler for 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So when you came over to Canada, was that the first time that you saw the snow?
Excuse me?
When you came over to Canada, was that the first time that you saw the snow?
First time what?
That you saw snow. Well, when you flew into Canada, remember you said there was a snowstorm?
Yeah.
Was that the first time you'd seen
Oh,
snow?
no. In Lebanon, snow 10 times more.
Oh, really?
It snows more, but it's not cold as Canada.
Okay.
In Lebanon, we get sometime up to 6 feet.
Okay, wow.
In our town.
6 feet?
6 feet in our hometown.
So that covers you up?
It covers everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So some places in where Sherbil live in Bakafra, they say it covers the houses.
Oh,
and
wow.
they have to dig holes
How do you
to make to dig hole for the window so they get light inside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was so you glossed over the Lebanon. What was your favorite memory of living in Lebanon?
I think it was the family mostly. The family were always nice to us. One day we didn't have one. I'll tell you one thing, Khalil. My aunt my father was killed. After my father was killed, my aunt sent us money twice a year, $100 every 6 months, and that's what kept us going to spend. We didn't have money coming in, but the food like to eat and stuff like that, we have lot of property, and we used to like rent the property. We get 1/3, and the people that rented get the 2/3. And we used to get our what we need, like the flour, the potatoes, the onion, everything needed for the house, and uh, uh, we used to get it actually from our land.
Wow.
And thank to God, my mother never we never had one meal miss. We never missed a meal in our house, because my mother always have something for us to eat. My mother was a good management. She managed the house like I don't think anybody managed it better than her. She the money my aunt used to send us. She used to buy the clothes for us, and and but we never used to buy meat on Sunday to make kubbi.
So for people that don't know,
Uh,
kibbe is
the kubbi in them days was rich people,
okay.
because you have to buy the meat on Sunday so everybody can make kubbi. And my mother didn't have money to make kubbi. She always make kubbi out of potatoes. And uh, even her mother used to say, "Did you buy meat and make kubbi today?" She said, "Oh yeah, yeah, we did, but we never did." But just to she was so proud. She didn't want her mother to know that she's not eating meat.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was a proud woman, very very proud.
Hmm. Um.
One day I was in town. I think I was about 9, and the guy that sells ice cream, I was going by there. I seen a kid I know. I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I'm spinning the machine that make the ice cream, and it's gonna give me a cone after half an hour." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm gonna spin it after you." She said, "Is there anybody?" He said, "No, no, you can take right after me." And he told the guy, he told him that I'm gonna spin that after him. So, so the guy left, and I was started spinning that machine so he can give me a cone of ice cream. I never had ice cream before, and guess who came to eat ice cream at his place? One of my uncle, my uncle Badwi. He seen me spinning that machine and sweating, and he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm spinning the machine so I can get a cone of ice cream." He said, "Come, come, stop spinning. Come and sit with me at the table." And he told the guy, give him an ice cream, whatever he want." He said to me, "Don't ever do stupid job like that. You're gonna hurt yourself uh, for a lousy ice cream cone." I said, "Okay." So I guess him, my uncle, and the other uncle, they talked together, and they used to work together. one uncle will take all the doors and windows and everything to make the wood for him, and the other uncle used to do the cement work. So they used to do different work together. So they started taking me out with them. They give me a job when they do the cement work. They got wood, frame. They put it first, and so they pour the cement over it. And after they take it out, you have to take all the nails out of the wood and straighten the nails out, and so they can use the nail again. And my job was to take all the nails out of the wood and straighten the nails, and so they can use them again. And I started doing that, and I used to do. I did my job very well. I guess they really liked me. Then he started paying me $3 a week, just enough. No, $3.50 a week. $3.50 a week. $3 was to pay for a kilo of meat, and the 50 cents for me to spend.
Was this in Lebanon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Lebanon. And
Was that your first job?
yeah,
How old were you?
9.
Nine was your first
Yeah,
job?
yeah, like my uncle, give it to me so they can buy the meat. He found out that we haven't been eating meat and stuff like that, and they were both mad. Nobody said anything to them.
Your uncle Budri, he's your mom's brother, right?
Yeah, and Yusuf is another brother.
How many siblings did your mom have?
At that time there was Afif, Badwi, and Yusuf, men, and there's Salma, my mother Emily, Adele, Saidi, and Alvira. 5, and I think they were 8.
8.
8,
Okay.
yeah. 5 girls and
3 boys?
3 boys. Poor Afif, he died 1 year after we came to Canada. It was an election in Hasroun, and I guess there used to be a problem on election. People try to make people vote certain way, and always a lot of problem. And grandmother, she told him to stay in the city and not to go up to Hasroun yet until after the election. While they were there, him and 4 of his buddies, they decided to go swimming in the Mediterranean. And my uncle doesn't know how to swim. All of them, actually. And they went into a place, and there was a current in there. And the current sucked them in, all of them. They all went under. And some guy, good swimmer, he'd seen him. He ran right away, and he took out all the others except my uncle. When they woke up, and he said, Afif, he said, oh, I thought I got all of you. He said, no, there's one more. They dived again. He was already swallowed too much water, and he died. 16 years old.
He was how much older was he than you?
Huh?
Were you around the same age as he was?
He was the same age as my brother.
Okay. Uncle Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay. So he died 1 year after you guys left?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you find out?
Send a letter to us. He first sent a letter. I guess he had same problem, and somebody saved him. And he told us in the letter, I will never walk in the ocean, even the ocean was dry. and exactly 1 year, and he walked until the ocean, and he drowned.
That's too bad.
Yeah, he was a good-looking fella. He looked something like you,
Yeah.
big, tall, fair-looking.
Um.
He was Charlie's age. He used to tie one hand behind his back and one hand against me and Charlie, my brother. And he used to grab us and whip us around like we were nothing. We can compare. He was strong, very strong. We couldn't even pin him down, both of us.
Was he naturally strong, or did he do a lot
He
of?
he was naturally strong. He was the same age as Charlie, but he looked like the size of a 10-year older person.
Oh wow.
He loved us. He loved us. One day, I had a little gun that shoot cork, and it shaped exactly like a gun. And this policeman's son, he said, "I heard you have a gun that looks like a real gun." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What is it?" I said, "Here in my pocket." "Can I look at it?" I said, "Sure, take a look at it." He looked at it, kept on looking at it. All of a sudden, he turned around. He said, "I'll be right back." And he took off. And I started running after him. I kept running after him, and he went right in front of my grandmother's house. We passed there. My uncle Afif was, he heard me screaming. He came out and he said, "What's happened?" He told him he stole my gun, and he's running away. He came with me, he kept running with me until we ran all the way to his house, and he tried to hide in his house. My uncle went to his father. His father was the policeman. Everybody used to be scared of him. And he told him, "Your son stole the gun of my nephew. I want that gun back right away." He said, "Sure, sure, I'm telling you." So his father went to look, show me the gun. He showed him the gun. He told me, "Is that your gun?" I said, "Yes, sir, that's my gun." He gave it to me. He said, he gave his son. He said, "Don't ever steal any more from people. Next time, it's going to be a big problem for you." He gave us the gun, and he gave him a big, good talk to straighten him out.
Um. Uncle Charlie's was 2 years older than you were, right?
No, 2 years and 2 months. Well, he was 1 month.
2 years and 1 month. So Afif was so he was.
Afif was about same as Charlie. Uh, no, I think Afif was born younger than Charlie.
Oh, so he was in between you two.
I think he was uh, uh, Charlie was 3 months older than him.
Okay.
I think Afif was in March, his birthday, and Charlie was in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was like your buddy, pretty much.
Oh, Afif like my biggest brother. Like he looked after me like I was his younger brother. Yeah.
Um, did you get along like that with your other uncles?
Yeah, all of them, all of them. They were all nice to us. They were all nice to us. Uncle Bud, we brought him to Canada, him and his two sons, in 1970, 70, 76, because there was civil war in Lebanon. And he wrote and told my mother that if he can come, him and two boys, for a few months, and until that war finished. He came in August. Then he decided he wanted to go back, and but his boys didn't want to go back, so he found them an apartment, and he told them, "You go and work." He got him. Charlie got him jobs, and George started working with me. He was good. He had a good. If you see something, you tell him to do something similar, he'll do it just as good or better. George had a good. How you say it? If you like a person who sees something and he can
photographic memory.
yeah for the and he make it look better. And I said this guy he's gonna be a good carpenter because he was working with his dad. Uh, when he went back, he started working with his dad, and they started making Chesterfield. I mean, furniture for the houses, beds, anything you want, and furniture. And he started doing really good. And when he came to Costa Rica, when we were living now, he, he told me he had 11 people working for him, as on the furniture, and he's doing very well. But I don't know now about that problem in Lebanon, and I don't know how they're doing. I haven't heard from him.
It's been a while since you talked.
When he came about 3 years ago, he told me he was doing very good.
So now let's go back to when you were at Chrysler. You said it was 1977 or 57 that you
What?
When you were at Chrysler? What year was it that you were working at Chrysler?
57.
57. Okay. What were you doing at Chrysler?
I worked on the Plymouth and the Dodge two-door hardtop. They didn't have too many of them, but they had to do the framework for them. They didn't do them on the production line. We had to do them separate on a table and build so many a night. And when we first started, they were doing six a night. Then the big boss came and said there was a big urgency. They need 12 a night. And they won't bother us again. We did 12 a night, and we still have time for ourselves. Then, about a month after, they said the same guy came again, and he said more emergency. We need 18 a night. And at that time, when they were doing all this, none of us had seniority yet. We were still working as probation, like. They can keep us or they can, get rid of us. And so we finally did the 18 a night, but they didn't have no time for us at the end of the day. We barely made it just to wash our hands and finish. but we were all, worked right out, and they knew it. But them other guys, they had seniority, they wouldn't do the work. The one they used to do was 6 a night. They went around carrying hammer and walk around on the factory. Just walking around in the factory with the hammer in their head. They think they're busy, they're keeping busy, fixing something. They weren't fixing nothing,
They were just biding time.
passing the time.
Hmm. Um. So, what when you were done at Chrysler, did you quit because you were tired of working there, or did you find another opportunity?
No, another opportunity came up. There was a bowling league in Tecumseh, and this guy, friend of mine,
Would you like a sip of something?
yeah, please.
Would you like to get up and stretch or anything?
No,
No.
it's okay.
Okay. Okay. So there was a bowling league in Tecumseh.
Yeah, and this friend of mine, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Working in Green Giant." But in Green Giant, you can work so long, and after a while, they tell you you're finished. But I was lucky; they used to keep me till about sometime till January, February, March, sometime. But they always start in the end of in May, for the peas. Always in the peas, always from the peas on. I used to work from May till February or March, but never full time, and it wasn't a good job. So this guy came and told me. He said, "I see an opportunity for you." I said, "What?" He said, "You know Jerry Campo?" I said, "Yeah, I know Jerry Campo." He said, "I heard he's looking for somebody to be partner with him. He wants to start a flower shop. You want to go and talk to him?" I said, "Sure, I'll go and talk to him." So the night of bowling, Jerry comes in, and I was sitting there, and he come putting his bowling shoes and everything. I said, "Jerry, I heard you're looking for somebody to be your partner. You want to start a flower shop?" He said, "Are you interested?" I said, well, I got to see the plan." And I said, "What kind of plan you have?" He had a book. He had written everything in the book, what he needed to start the flower shop. He said, "I need this, this, and this. We have to go and buy them, and this will cost about this, and this will cost about that." I said, "How much money do each person have to come up with?" He said, $500. I said, "I'm in." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in." I went and told my mother and my aunt that I'm gonna start a flower shop with Jerry Campo. She said, "What are you gonna start a flower shop? You're gonna lose your money." I said, I invested $500. If $500 didn't work, It's okay. I lose $500, but this gives me an opportunity to start my own business. And my aunt said, "Where are you going to have the flower shop?" I said, "I was thinking you have a place empty. We can rent it from you." I said, "How much do you want?" She said she was renting it, I think, around $50 or $75 a month rent. She said, $45. I'll give it to you guys. I said, okay, it sounds good. So I went back to Jerry and I said, I got you a place where to start a flower shop. He said, where? At my aunt's place. One next to the railroad track. He said, you got that? I said, yeah. He said, how much? I said, $45. He said, oh, good, cheap. So he needed somebody to sign for him to get $500 from the bank. And nobody wanted to sign for him. Finally, his mother said to him, I'll go and sign for you. His mother went and she knows the bank manager, and she went and told him, I'm signing for my son for the $500 loan. Oh, good. That's very well. So now you're all set. You can start your flower shop. So we took $1,000 with us, and we went to the place. He knew all the places and everything. He had marked down what you need for the flower shop. We went to Port Dover, Thomas A. Ivy. They were wholesale florists. They have fresh flowers, and they have all the part you need for the flower shop. Flower suppliers. And we went there, we introduced ourselves, and the guy was very nice, by the name of Walt Lawn. Walt Lawn took care of us, what we need for inside the flower shop. Nothing to do with flowers, just the part when you need to make flowers. And Jerry went in there and he bought all the stuff. And he only spent, I think, less than $500, and he bought all the stuff we needed. Then after we finished, we told him we need some fresh flowers for to start, and we be needing some every week. And he told us that he gonna tell his salesman to stop and see us every week, and bring sell us roses, anything we need, and they have whatever we need on flowers. And on the day of the opening, they give us 400 roses to use on the open day to give them to the people. When we did, Jerry said, give me all the people you know with their name and try to find their addresses, and we'll send everybody an invitation.
Would you like more pillows?
So,
More pillows? You want another pillow?
No.
No? Okay.
And I went and made a list of all the people I know, and their name and addresses and everything, and we send invitation to everybody I know, and he send an invitation everybody that he know. It was December 9, 1961. I don't know, we put an ad in the Star, I think, and the Windsor Star, newspaper. And that we're going to open up a flower shop by the name of Jerry and Phil Flowers. And we sent all the invitation. And we went and opened the door on December 9. And all the people we sent invitation, they start coming in. And we know everybody. Talk to them. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. We're very glad that you come into our invitation. Anything we can help you with for Christmas or for any other occasion, or some people bought stuff for Christmas, some people bought occasion. Even we signed 2 weddings that day. Anyway, after all calculation, we sold almost $1,000 on the first day.
Wow, that's not bad for a first day, huh?
Huh?
Not bad for a first day.
Excellent. Excellent for the first day. And we had the cash again. And we started from there. And people start calling, start buying stuff, wreath for Christmas, for the dead people. And anything they need for Christmas, they give it to us. Somebody want to send plan for Christmas, they gave us the orders. Things work out excellent.
You like to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a break, and we'll come back next time. Okay. All right, so that's it for part 1, you guys. Now we're gonna record the other ones. Excuse me. We're gonna record the other ones in a little minute. Okay, so for those, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Oh, by the way, if you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe, and we'll come back to you tomorrow. I love you, my forgetters. Bye bye.